Hey guys, and welcome back to No Man's Sky. I am SurvivalBob, and we just had a big announcement from the Nintendo Switch event today that says No Man's Sky is coming for the Nintendo Switch this summer. Now, I watched the video, the trailer, and I went back and watched the event, and I want to talk about that because I think there's some Easter eggs in there, or misinformation or something. There's a lot of questions I have with this. So let's take a look at that real quick. I want to play this from the actual Nintendo Switch event, and we're going to react to this a little bit because there's some Easter eggs or there's some things in here that I have questions about. So let's take a look at this real quick. I may have to do something with the audio. I don't know. This is transformative, right? Yeah, this is transformative.
Explore an infinite universe.
All right, let's take a look at this trailer.
In No Man's Sky, every star is the light of a distant sun, each orbited by planets teeming with life. Travel to planets of your choosing in this infinite, procedurally generated universe. Here, you'll discover extraordinary lands and creatures that have never been seen before.
Okay, so this is very similar footage to what we've seen in several of the other trailers, but it doesn't look as crisp and as clean, and I was checking to make sure I did have it at 1080, 60. You can't see because my body's in the way, but it is at HD. It is at the max quality here, and it just doesn't look as clean, which leads me to believe this may be actual gameplay footage. But there's a couple other things I want to look at here more specifically, so let's take a look at those now.
And may never be seen again. To survive, you must craft your own tools and even your own place to live.
All right, so as someone who's played No Man's Sky a lot over the last couple years, to survive, you must craft your own tools and your own place to live. You don't really have to craft your own tools. You have to craft upgrades for the tool that you have. I don't know if this is a change that's coming or if this is just a misstatement or a mistranslation or something that got lost somewhere. But I don't know. I never would have characterized No Man's Sky as it is a survival game technically in the technical sense of the word. It's not like you're making a pickaxe and chopping trees and stuff like that. You got a multi-tool. You got to throw some ferrite dust in it to get started. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this here. And you don't really have to make much of a base either to survive. You have to make a base to progress the quest line, but I've gone very far in the game without making bases. So this is interesting. I don't think this is anything extra that's coming because of this. I think this is just, maybe you could have stated it a little bit better, but it sounds good if you don't know anything about the game. So let's keep listening because there's a few more things I want to point out.
In this living and breathing universe, trade convoys travel between stars. Factions vie for territory. Pirates hunt unwary travelers.
Okay, this all sounds cool, but let's go back and listen to this because I'm going to mess it up.
In this living and breathing universe, trade convoys travel between stars. Factions vie for territory.
All right, trade convoys travel between stars. I guess they're referring to freighter missions there, if that's what we're talking about. That does happen. But factions vying for territory, this is what's really getting me here. This is the one that I'm really sticking on, and I want to talk about this and unpack this a little bit. I'm not sure what they mean by this. Factions vie for territory. I mean, we have the Gek, the Vy'keen, and the Korvax. They all have their own systems, but we never see that change. It's static. It's not dynamic. It has never changed as far as I'm aware in playing the game over the last couple of years. So are they talking about player factions? Because there are player factions, but then you don't really own anything in a player faction either. I mean, you can discover planets and you can name planets, but you can't stop somebody else from going there and doing something as well. So it's not like you really control it. I know there's lots of different player groups and factions out there, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they own it or they vie for territory. So I'm wondering if this is a hint towards something in the future. I really hope it is, because I think that would be amazing if there was a faction element in the game. We're going to circle back around to this here in a minute or so, but let's keep watching this and see what else we see.
Pirates hunt unwary travelers.
I mean, that's a thing.
And the authorities are ever watchful.
Yep. Sentinels are the authorities.
Your journey may be fraught with danger, and actions have consequences.
Well, fraught with danger, meh. But actions have consequences. I guess they're referring to your faction rank with the Gek and the Korvax and the Viking, how they can, you can improve that. And yes, I guess it does have consequences, but it's not something that I think most people think about as they're playing the game too very much. Not enough that I would include it in a trailer if it was me, but.
Trader, fighter, explorer.
Trader, fighter, explorer.
How will you live in this universe?
You can decide how you want to live in the universe.
No Man's Sky lands on Nintendo Switch this summer.
All right, and so here we go. No Man's Sky lands on Nintendo Switch this summer, and that's it. That's it. They go right into the next game. It doesn't tell us a date in the summer. The other games, they were giving dates, so we don't know exactly when it's going to be, sometime this summer. But it doesn't say anything about crossplay. Are we going to be able to play this cross-platform like we can with Xbox and PlayStation and Steam PC right now? Is this going to be crossplay on all 4 platforms now with the addition of Switch? I don't know. Does Switch have a history of being crossplay compatible with other games? I honestly don't know, so I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments down below. The thing I'm still sticking on is the faction thing. And I'm not sure, is that I may be reading, I may be too hopeful into that, but I'm hoping this core has something to do with that, and that this was a slip or a hint or an Easter egg or something to let us know what's coming in the future in No Man's Sky. And that's going to be the station core override unit. And I'm wondering if this will allow us to actually start controlling these stations, thus controlling the system that we're in, and maybe make it an actual faction thing. They have been putting more and more banners for different player-led factions in the item shop with the Quicksilver vendor and the Anomaly. So I know that was cool as a recognition, but is that going to lead us to something more where we actually can control pieces of space with the system override and allow factions to take it over? I don't know. They have hinted at this, but they've just stopped talking about it a few months ago. We thought we were going to get something. They mentioned it in Expedition 3. They totally ignored it in Expedition 4. So I feel like it was something that was going to happen, and then they delayed it. And I really hope that this was a slip, a hint, something to say that maybe this station core is going to have something to do with factions in the game, whether it's the factions based on the species, the Korvax, the Gek, and the Viking, or player factions. Either way, I am all about it. I think that would be amazing. There it is, thumbs up. I was trying to find the right button. But I think that would be amazing to see factions. And, I mean, I would love it to be player factions, but, I mean, even if it's just the races, having control and changing control of the stations, I think that would be amazing as well. So, guys, Nintendo Switch announcement. Is it going to be crossplay? What do you think? Is it going to be the same version that we have on the other platforms? My guess is that it's not. My guess is that it's not going to be crossplay. I don't think so. I don't know that a Switch could handle the full version because we see trouble with consoles and things like that already. They didn't mention if it would be available on all Switches or just the higher-end versions of it. So that's something else we have questions about. The other thing we don't know is the exact date this is going to come out. They just said summer, so we'll have to continue to watch that as well. But I'm really curious to see what happens. I'd really love to hear your opinion. Let me know what you think down below. You know I'll be covering it. Make sure you follow this channel to get more information about No Man's Sky as we progress, and I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as we go in through 2022 and beyond for No Man's Sky. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Guys, remember, if you're going to be a Bob, have fun with it. And if you're going to play No Man's Sky, maybe you should get a Switch. Or if you've got a Switch, maybe you start playing No Man's Sky on that as well. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you soon.